Time now for our Ask the Expert. More than 1/3 of couples are starting married life on the wrong financial foot by racking up debt to pay for their big day.
Now, the average wedding is topping more than $31,000, and that's more than half that most people make in a year. So, certified financial planner Tony Drake from wealthwisconsin.com joins us today to kind of talk about what couples should be talking about before they say I do.
It's a big problem. About half of the folks out there are having a wedding, great time, exciting time, but they're going into debt. It's what we call red weddings. So right out of the gate, they're starting off in debt, and we don't want to throw a wet blanket here on Valentine's Day, but you know, some great ways. You got to think about what's important in your marriage. Is it buying a house, retiring someday, you know, and really see if going into debt right out of the gate fits into that plan.
So what conversation would you have with them? I mean, they may come in with you already saying we're in debt, and that's a little late to have the conversation, isn't it?
It is a little late, but I think you bring up a great point. It's just about starting that conversation. Problem is, a lot of folks just aren't talking about it. They're keeping secrets. They're hiding some of that baggage. So really important to start that conversation so you're both on the same page.
And you talk about going into the marriage with debt due to the fact that they're spending so much money on this wedding. This is a dream for many, men and women. So do you suggest they save before going into it, or do they scale down? Because many would think, don't I splurge just this one time in my life when it's just all about us?
Right. And that's the concept, but ideally we want to save ahead of time. You know, if we can budget for that. About half of folks in relationships admit they don't even know what their partner makes. Problem with that is if you don't even know their salary, how are you going to set up a budget? And that's the backbone of any financial plan.
Well, rule number 3 up there sounds pretty tough. That's a tough talk there. Set the ground rules, right? Who sets the ground rules?
Well, it's got to be a joint conversation. Right, not the spender.
The saver.
You know, are you going to have a joint account, separate accounts? Do we have an amount in the relationship that I can spend without feeling like I have to get permission? So
an allowance?
Well, somewhat of an allowance, but there should be an amount you can spend without feeling like you have to ask permission. But, you know, it's just about staying open and communicating about that. About 7% of people admit to having some secret accounts out there.
And so you talk about staying honest. That was one of the things that was also on your list. Do you find that most of your clients who are coming to you, that's what they're revealing, that their partner hasn't been upfront and honest about either their debt or these secret little bank accounts?
Yeah, there's a lot of that secret spending going on. So if we can just let that baggage out, talk about it before the marriage, talk about the debt you might be bringing in the marriage. There's a previous marriage, maybe it's alimony, child support.
Or student loans. I got one.
Student loans. If you can be upfront about it, you can plan for it.
And a good rebuttal's not, that's my money.
Right.
It's our money, right?
There you go. All right, got a question for our experts. Email them at asktheexpert@today'stmj4.com. You can also leave a voicemail. We have the number right there for you.